everybody. Welcome back to PSGL. George Morgan here, your commentator, alongside me, TK, who is going to be rounding off the season with me.
Down the inside,
absolutely possible season.
This is for the win between these two.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
He needs to get it done now.
Blakely will dive to the inside.
We're robust. We got our elbows out.
Ronard takes the lead.
Because here comes Alfie Butcher.
Can't really complain with that one.
It's not going to be easy. The pressure is on, of course.
Yarda Watmere is your champion.
Well, hello everybody and welcome back. It is the return of Monday Evening Madness here, and it is PSGL PSF1 back on your screens, I'm delighted to say, as we prepare to write the opening verse of the 42nd chapter in this series' long, illustrious history. Behind us, 41 seasons of drama, duels and destiny, and who will be the next to add their name to the lineage of past champions. Very, very exciting stuff. Over the next 11 weeks, we'll blast across all corners of the globe, from the beating heart of the Mediterranean to the glistening night skies of Arabia, all in pursuit of crowning the latest champion of this storied series. From familiar foes renewing their championship crusades to some former stars returning and some rampant rookies as well. Let's hope that season 42 is an absolute barnstormer that we can remember for quite some time. All of the action will be brought to your screens every single Monday from 8 p.m. UK time as we kickstart our journey tonight from the coastal cradle of Catalonia in Barcelona, Spain. Welcome in everybody. Hopefully this is going to be a very exciting one. And once again, commandeering Commentary Corner, myself, Tom Wilkinson, alongside me, Logan Skelton. Logan, how have you been in the last 3 weeks? We haven't spoken too much.
First of all, can I ask,
You
did
can
AI write that monologue for you?
No, it did not. That is all.
Okay,
that is
good.
all perfectly
We're on
written
good
by
terms
me.
then.
I wouldn't use ChatGPT or Gemini or insert name here branding to write myself an intro. That's not how we do it in the business.
Good. Well, I'm just excited to be here, especially with that new role I've been offered for some whatever reason.
Yes.
I've already got a 5 days a week working job and a lot of other hobbies, but they decided to put me in it anyway. Okay, I shall persist. Yeah, we've got a brand new season and a brand new lineup. Most notably, the top 4 or 5 from last season are not here. They've moved to PC or maybe nothing at all. Volakongan, Van de Geest, Slofer already, Tony Richet and Otsuzito all absent from this season. Dirk is pretty much the favourite by default because he was 6th and he is in this division this season. But we do have some other contenders as well, most notably White Sheep, who was last season's PSF2 champion. And we've also got Taiko and Seeb, who were 2nd and 3rd in that division. So we'll see how they do in this season against the other elites that have stayed on from last season. Kevin Zunnerberg, Zane, amongst them too. Max Bricka, Jaden, and of course Azam, who is, I believe, was he in F1 reserve last season?
He has. So if we go through it, like you said, we're missing the top 4 from the championship last season. That means for the second time in a row, the title holder will not be defending their crown. Volakongan has bade adieu, as has, like you said, Alex Loaf, who obviously departed mid-season, Otzito and Tony Richet. And it does leave us with this grid that does feel fresh, wide open, lots of opportunities as well. This is going to be really interesting, especially those opening few races. Some people to watch, like you said, White Sheep F2 champion. I'm looking at Melwin Efferman as well as definitely somebody to watch making their F1 debut. Simone Mara and Azim back in PSGL PSF1, also looking to take on the established order, like I said, Max von der Geest, Dirk, Nico, Snacks, Lauren's in there still as well. On paper, it looks like a really fascinating field. And well, I think we should shift our focus from the drivers to the tarmac that those drivers will be tackling, because this is your calendar for season 42 of PSGL PSF1. We begin with a European triple header from Spain to the Cauldron of Chaos in Baku, Azerbaijan, and then what has become a bit of a modern classic, I think it's fair to say, the Red Bull Ring in Spielberg. And then after the break week, we head stateside to the Circuit of the Americas, a really exciting race last season 41. Hopefully it can be even better. We then hop back to Europe for a quick trip, what could be one of our final visits to Zandvoort in the Netherlands. And then comes the hallowed Brazilian bitumen of Interlagos, followed by trips to Singapore and Spa, and then the final Arabian leg to round off the season, Abu Dhabi, and then a dramatic finale we're expecting under the lights in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. I have to say, Logan, that is a calendar worthy of a big championship fight.
Heck yes, of course, this is I'd say the final season on this game cycle, but really it's not, because of course we're actually getting a DLC. For those of you been living under the rock the past few months, we're getting a DLC for F1 26, which hopefully includes new cars, extended field to 22, and Cadillac, as well as Madrid, hopefully, even though it doesn't look great on paper that people have said. But yes, 10 rounds, 10 incredible rounds, 10 incredible venues, including, of course, Azerbaijan, Jeddah, Abu Dhabi, and then, of course, Belgium, Brazil, and Zandvoort, and pretty much an all-star lineup. Of course, we've already seen the PC peoples around these on the Thursday, but now we're going to be seeing our console users on the Monday. And I should just mention, by the way, the teams. So for the McLaren team, we have Phil and Sieb. Phil from last season, of course, and Sieb from Season 2. It's Division 2, my pardon. Ferrari is going to be Gavroch and Nico from last season. Red Bull... Oh, Van der Geest is in this season. I do apologise. I completely missed that. Wait, did I? Is he in this season?
Max van der Geest is definitely here. I have seen him.
Okay. Yeah, he's in the lobby. Sorry, I do apologise. He is. My apologies for the first choke of 2026. That's a great start.
Get it on the list.
Team up with, it's Max van der Geest and... Wow, thanks, Chris Jericho. Max and Lars in the Red Bull. Polly Mackey and Melvin Everman will be the Silver Arrows Mercedes AMG Petronas. Simone Mara and Zane, all TRT stable lineup on the Aston Martins. Lawrence and Azam will be in the Alpines. Kevin Zonnenberg and Max Bricka in the Hasses. The these names. The Racing Bulls, the V-Carbs, will be filled by Dirk and Jordan. The Williams, Snatsk and Jaden. The Kick Saubers, for perhaps the last time ever, White Sheep and Tycho before they become Audi. And the reserves are Vinexben BTW, Namsco, RW06, Escoca Levy, and Silo. And I do believe one of them will have to be thrown in because, unfortunately, Azam is not here tonight. We haven't got any word on who it's going to be the other
there were discussions that it was going to be Vine Ben BTW.
Yes, it is.
That's what it should be, I believe, if we haven't had any dramatic change. And confirmed in the lobby. That is absolutely delightful. So, a lot of drivers will be hoping to get off to a good start. Going to be very, very critical, you'd imagine, to not end up chasing shadows. Don't want to be on the back foot in the early stages while your front runners are disappearing up the road. And definitely these drivers are going to be maximising every early opportunity. But if you want to maximise your own performance, here it comes, everybody. On F1 25, extract those extra final tenths, hundredths, maybe even thousandths. Good news, because courtesy of our title sponsors, over at Sim Racing Setups, you can unlock that extra performance with their Pro F1 25 car setups, created and developed by the very drivers you see competing week in, week out here at Premier Sim Gaming Leagues. Esport level and stable setups for every single condition, whether it's dry or wet, qualifying or race, they've got you covered. And with free meta setup updates in there, so you are always up to date. All the 27 circuits on the F1 25 game available at simracingsetups.com, which is linked in the description of this stream. For £49.99, do the maths, £49.99 divided by 27, that equals pretty darn decent value, if I do say so myself. And if that wasn't enough, make sure you use the code PSGL at checkout, and that will give you a delightful 25% discount. And, well, from the setups back to the circuit, the drivers will be hoping to put those setups to good use tonight because it is the Circuit de Catalunya and it is a proper technical examination, isn't it, Logan? It's not flashy, it's not forgiving, it's very methodical. That is the way you've got to try and go through it. Sector 1 demanding commitment, definitely. The long loaded right-hander, that's going to chew those tyres turn 3, isn't it? Got to have to try and be careful of that, especially in the early stage of the race. Don't want to overheat those tyres. Sector 2, all about rhythm, lots of medium speed direction changes, a few angry sausage curbs in there as well. And then the final sector, but made so much more nice, and nice is the right word, since we got rid of that absolutely abhorrent final chicane.
Yes, absolutely. You can see why they use it for testing, and they have for about the past 25 years. Before then, it was your own track, you know, your Fieranos, your Imolas, your Silverstones. But no, it's now officially used by Catalunya. And even though, okay, it can be Marmite for racing fans, the purists will know it is a very well respected venue. Just don't go up showing up to testing because you won't get anywhere near.
You have to sit on a hill.
Yes, you do. But by the way, I did the math on your sim racing. It is £1.85 per track.
That's pretty decent. That's pretty decent value once again. The maths, the algebra, the statistics checking out as we would expect. But the clock has struck 8 p.m. and I think that means we'll be getting very, very close to start. You can see there we are loading into the session. To kickstart season 42, this should be an absolute barnstormer, everybody. If you are new to PSGL, or maybe you haven't joined us for a little while, first of all, welcome in. Make yourself comfortable this evening. We are at the Circuit de Catalunya tonight. First of all, 18-minute short qualifying session to sink your teeth into. A few seasons ago, we had a lobby reset between qualifying and the race because we turned collisions off to try and get rid of all of that horrible slipstream that people could try and steal a march on their rivals with. This time, no lobby reset. We will go straight into the 50% race. That'll be 33 laps on the offer this evening. And that means, Logan, that the soft compound tyres, we don't have that lobby reset. The tyres they use in qualifying, they're going to have to take through to the race. And we know we didn't see too many safety cars in season 41, but you always want to have that safety net of having a set of fresh soft compound tyres in your back pocket in case of any late dramas.
Yes, of course, you have to make a pit stop in this race. It is the rules of Formula 1 racing, and they do apply to this realm as well, as we are having trouble with loading in. There we go. But a few seconds late, but we are underway with season 42 on the consoles. 20 drivers all in the pits getting their setups ready, and they'll be going out. All we can say is, gladiators, ready! Oh wait, it's not Saturday night yet. Oh well.
I have to say, though, I'm delighted. It may only be round one, but I'm delighted that we've got 20 people in the lobby. We didn't have that for a lot of the second half, in particular, of season 41. So the attendance, big check there on the box. And I believe the first driver coming out is one of the Racing Bull cars. Is that going to be Dirk? I'd be surprised if it wasn't. No, it isn't Dirk. It is Jordan. No, it's not. Yes, it is Jordan. We just can't ride on board just yet. But you can see the arrow there. First out on the circuit is Jordan, and this should be an interesting one to see how things go. 18 minutes on the clock, 3 runs you would imagine, as Jordan takes an interesting line there straight into turn 3.
You don't want to take all those lines. Don't take my phone line. Anyway, we are getting underway as Jordan will make his way around the first few corners, getting them tyres warmed up at an optimum temperature for action, and grinding around the Catalunya circuit. Probably 3 or 4 times they'll be doing proper laps in. Of course, you have to stay within the lines or your time will be deleted by the race control, who is probably Matt Hardy at this rate, if you know your wrestling jargon. Around the relatively new turn that was installed after 2021, and of course won by Lewis Hamilton the last time he won here, of course. Now here we go around the final 2 corners, which were re-implemented a couple years ago, and we're going to get a lap of Jordan around the Circuit de Catalunya.
DRS flap already wide open. A little bit of a dancing act, really. You want to try and have some good straight lines, good top-end speed, so that you're not a sitting duck down that main straight. But you really got to work the car through the middle sector in particular, keeping it tight through turn 3, then just let it run out, easily run out to the left-hand side, and you've got to be so committed as you enter the middle sector into turn 4, cranking on the steering lock with Jordan, trying to hope that the rear end of the car complies with the inputs that you're asking of it. Into 5 we go now again. You want to keep this tight. Bit of a tricky traction zone over the curbs. You can see the serrated secondary piece of curbing that can spit you into the wall, as can the sausage curbs through the 7-8 chicane. That one you don't want to get on it. Tony Hawking it goes, Jordan, and a little bit of a wobble as well. We have to keep the throttle pinned through turn 9. A little bit of traffic to deal with. He's come out slightly earlier than a lot of other drivers, barreling down into 10, one of the heaviest braking zones on this circuit. Maybe affected a little bit by the dirty air there of the Sauber in front, and then you've just got to be, well, through this lazy long turn 12, and now it's the commitment part of lap. Through 13, throw the car in, hope that it sticks like glue to the rubber, and then again through 14 as well. In the race, this can be a bit dicey with the dirty air. But Jordan up to line will set the benchmark at a 111.6. I think that will be lowered by a few drivers.
Yeah, it will, and one of them is Kevin Zunneberg, who goes into the top, but now it's Lawrence, who's well clear of Jordan. He's on a 111.173. And then it gets immediately wiped out by over a tenth by Max Bricker in the other Haas. White Sheep, the reigning F2 champion. Of course, he can't defend his title if he's here in the top division. A 111.318, nearly a quarter of a second off the pace. We've got another McLaren coming across the line. It's Phil, 111.5 bang. And then Lars Kramer getting to just 11 milliseconds behind Lawrence. Of course, early days, I'm sure we'll be getting warmed up for a second run as we see all the others cross the line.
Tight at the moment, though. As you would expect, short circuit, only just over 70-second lap time. Mats von der Geest fastest in the middle sector. There's Melwin Efferman, 11 flat, takes over to the tune of 2 milliseconds ahead of Max Bricker. But can the top driver from last season that's still racing jump to the top of the timing charts? Mats von der Geest? No, it's only 5th fastest. Slots in just behind his teammate, just under 0.2 of a second away from the ultimate benchmark. Let's see what his teammate from last season could do. Well, Dirk must have had a whoopsie out there somewhere, because it's only a 24.6 as Nico in the colours of Scarlet rather than the Golf liveried Williams car that he was last season. 9th make that 10th as Tico in the Sauber. The next driver to jump into the 11 flats, and Snacks was a bit of a quali specialist last season. Again finds himself in the familiar provisional pole spot. That's a 10.9. It's the first driver to break the 71-second mark.
Yeah, so first driver past 111, Snatsk in the Williams. That's the Golf Williams, by the way. I think is the other driver using? Yes, they're both using the Golf Williams, the superior livery. Go wee yums.
Delightful, though. It is one of the better looking cars. I still maintain that the 2021 McLaren Golf livery is slightly better, but it is an absolutely beautiful work of art. Here comes Vine Ben round the final corner. What is their first lap time going to be in the split? Is P16, 111.4, less than half a second, or just over half a second off the benchmark time. But this is how competitive this split can be. Top split on the PlayStation side. We have 17 drivers covered by just over half a second. Yeah. 2 yet to get a representative time on the board as, well, Dirk changes that to going to P12 and a 111.3. Simone Mara, though, in the Aston Martin, currently circulating in the middle sector.
Yeah, I was about to say, Dirk was on a 124 and thinking, well, there's everyone in there, and then there's Dirk on 124. And Simone Mara, the only driver yet to set a time, get on the board to make sure they're represented in the lineup, or you can be stuck at the back of the pack, and you don't really want to, especially if you're Aston Martin right now. Right in the final 2 corners. If you know, you know, by the way. Right in the final 2 corners, is he going to get up through the order? As he crosses the line, a 111.381 will take him into 15th. Still a bit of work to do. 2 laps, I'd imagine, left to do.
100%. It's a really interesting one. You've got to try and balance the scales. Go for a second run, maybe on a used set of the soft compound tyres that you did your first flying lap on, then give yourself a run at the end on a brand new, lovely set of the red stripe rubber. For most drivers, they'll have 3 sets of soft compound tyres to use in this qualifying session. You want to try and take one brand new set, one fresh set into the race, just in case you need them. We get a safety car on lap 28, for example, of 33. Then it's going to be a sprint to the finish from lap 31, you would imagine, to the flag at the end of 33. And I have to say, with Simone Mara, was maybe a little bit fortunate not to be invalidated. Looked very, very close to the track limits on the exit of turn number 13. And those final 2 corners in particular definitely places drivers have got to keep their wits about them regarding the track limits. You're carrying a lot of speed, 2 high-speed right-handed. Throw the car in there and hope that it sticks. And you can maybe just get a little bit too ambitious from time to time.
safety car. I haven't seen one of those in a while.
We've still got
Oh,
the
seriously?
missing person sheets out for Burt Minor because we did not see him at all last season. I went back through, didn't make one single appearance.
I didn't even get a missing person thing. So what in the world? But yes, only 2 drivers on track right now. I stand corrected. Now it's 5. There's like only 2 that are on a lap right now, but I don't think it's at. Is it a lap?
Well, Lawrence is improving, but he's had a massive whack of oversteer on the exit of turn 10, just trying to plant the throttle down as best as he possibly can. Trading Red Bull for the pink and blue of Alpine this season is Lawrence. We're hoping to try and improve on his P5, but yes, that bit of a wobble coming out of 10 does put pay to that second attempt. Just over, now just under 10 minutes to go in the session. We're approaching her halfway point as we jump back with the RB of Jordan, who's up by 5 milliseconds in Sector 1. Needs to try and find a little bit more, though, in the final 2 sectors.
So we're about to get to the halfway point of this session, and it's Snatch still at the top. Great in qualifying as we saw last year. Can he hold it together? Van de Geest was also pretty fast in qualifying last season as well. I say last year, I mean last season. You know what I mean? To PSGL,
It's all the same
like
universe.
years like 3 or 6 months, 3 or 4 months. Yeah. But yes, Polymaki seems to have backed off there, or has he already done a lap?
Polymaki has backed off, yeah. A little bit of traffic there, I imagine, through turn 4. Jordan did improve by a couple of tenths, but only to jump up into P17, so still a little bit of work to do there. It pushes Phil now down to the bottom of the pile in the Papaya and Chrome McLaren car on 11.5, which that is not slow at 11.5, and he's only 5.5 tenths off Snacks. That just shows how competitive, and I imagine things are going to converge even more as we head into the back end of the session. We were watching one silver arrow. Here is the other one, currently sat in second provisionally. Merwin Effman is improving, finds 400ths of a second in the first sector. Needs to just keep chipping away at it. The RB will get out of the way as he piles down the hill into turn 5 off camber braking zone. Can be very easy just to light up the rear tyres on the exit. Little bit of a snap of oversteer, but he controlled it nicely as we head into turn 7. You saw a couple of drivers getting all loosey-goosey over the sausage curb, but Merwin Effman, that is surgical-like precision there, but just takes a little bit too much curve through turn 9. That Mercedes looks very, very pointy as we see the split. Yes, down by a third of a tenth.
So he's now on. Sorry, Elderman just coming around the final few corners as I speak. Final corner, nicely done. Not wide at all. Can he top the time? No, he's slower than last time.
Oh, and
22
Snacks.
found him.
Snacks is improving. Found 200ths. Does he find more time in the middle sector? The answer is yes. Half a tenth now, Snacks. And he could be putting comfortably more than a tenth between himself and the chasing pack behind. This could be a real statement to kickstart the season. Snacks was a very, very strong qualifier. The quali king, you could say, in the second half of season 41. Couldn't always convert it into podium finishes and indeed race wins. But as he rounds the final corner, do we lower the benchmark even further? Yes, we do. By 3/4 of a tenth. First driver into the 110.8s. First driver in the 110 still as things stand. But he's looking very, very comfortable. That Williams is looking hooked up.
It is, and it better be like that in the real F1 this season, especially after their 2 podiums from Carlos Sainz. But that's a different universe entirely, let's be fair. Efferman and the rest of the grid will have a lot of work to do, by the way. Tycho and Jaden on the same time. We've got a new contender there. Gavroch gets a 1:11.041, but still unable to get within the 110. Also up there, Tycho improves. No longer tied with Jaden. He is now in third place, 1:11.065.
Lawrence finding time, by the way, fastest in the middle sector, nearly 2 tenths up. So this could be a big one for Lawrence. Could he be the second driver to get into the 110s? Gavroche couldn't do it. Tico couldn't do it. No improvement for Melwin Efferman. Over the line we go. Lawrence, yes, just about dipping his toes in the 110s. 110.979. And it is now Williams Alpine on the front row, displacing the Scarlet Ferrari.
Oh, another new challenger emerges, but still only 900ths down and change. So 6 minutes left in the session. We're in the final third, and still a lot of work for a lot of drivers to do, especially if you're down near the bottom. Mo Mara down there. Sieb, I'm surprised hasn't got any higher. Phil as well. Nico, I thought he would be flying pretty well. Max, especially in 12th. A 1:11.239. That is just about 2/10 slower than Gavroche in 3rd. And that just shows fine, slim margins in this level. That is why it is the cream of the crop. PS Tier 1. The pinnacle. The oldest division in our sport. Because, of course, you have to start with one league, don't you?
You do. And it does also show how you have to be on the money, on the button, throughout qualifying. A mistake that may only cost you, 300ths of a second. That could be 4, 5, 6 places on the grid. And when we know that Dirty Air is still strong in this game, the slipstream isn't particularly powerful. Overtaking, we think, might be difficult around this circuit as well, especially with the strategy being a little bit linear for a couple of drivers out there. You've got to make sure you get your quali lap in, you're happy with it, you don't leave any time on the table, because that could prove really, really costly.
It could, yes. So, got to be watching out for that. We got Lars Creamer. Is he? No, he's coming in. I think Jordan's the only driver on track. Yeah, and not really getting a push from other Red Bull car. He's going right across the line, and a 1:11.381 is his lap time. But and I don't think he's. I think he's just set the lap.
Yeah, improved by 1/2 tenth, but stayed only 19th. And that could be curtain for Jordan in the session, because there is time to get back round. Does he have the tyres left, though, to get another flying lap in? We'll wait and see if that RB does re-emerge. If we look at the race start, though, Logan, like we said, tyre are always looming. Track position is critical. Is this going to be a race where patience is going to be rewarded, or is it going to be the opposite, the other side of the coin, where aggression straight out of the blocks, being punchy on the opening lap, is going to reward people and set the tone for the race that's set up afterwards?
Well, if there's going to be a safety car, I think you might have to be patient. But considering we haven't really seen a safety car in what feels like forever, I think we may have a lot of aggression at the start, and it could prove pivotal in the race results. We've seen that a lot in Formula 1 last season, where the aggression at the start really does pay off. Max Verstappen. But
it is a tricky one. I do agree. Yeah. And the strategy as well might be quite linear. We could see people going for the alternate strategy. I'd be surprised if we see people go for 2 stops. If you were with us in season 41, we had some really interesting strategical battles. Tony Richet was one of them, who obviously isn't here this season. Remember back to Mexico right at the end of 2025. He went for an ambitious 2-stop strategy while leading the race, and it won him the race by nearly 15 seconds. So if you do roll the dice, there is such a high upside to it.
Absolutely. So we'll see what happens, though. This is just qualifying as of now. Of course, if there's a safety car, you have to throw that out the window. We see I'm on board with the Lars Creamer Red Bull. It's not the White Bull from Japan. It's the... Finally, they're changing the Red Bull livery. It took about, 7 years?
I do actually think it is a really, really good looking car as well. One of the best looking cars this year, I would say. I'm trying to think of something that's better. Nope, can't think of it. Haas, actually, yes, the Haas is really nice. Those are the 2 standouts, I would say.
You just lost to the gritty Haas. I don't know if MoneyGram's with them anymore. I think it's just TGR Haas. TGR Haas. Yeah. I thought the MoneyGram looked cool on it. Look at his colours fit. But hey, you can't have them forever. I mean, Ineos isn't on the Mercedes anymore, but let's not delve into the reasons why.
No, and you bring it up nicely, though. You bring it up nicely because we are watching the lead driver over the line to start the final flying laps, and it is the Mercedes of Polymaki charging down to turn number 1. Got to be precise with your inputs. Little bit wide, maybe through 2, and that'll compromise the run through turn 3. Foot flat to the floor, keeping it all the way over to the right-hand side. Aggressive line there, but it's found him some time. Throws the car into turn 4 as well, with 600ths of a second up on his personal best. Needs to find a little bit more, though. Every single millisecond is like gold dust when the qualifying is so close and so congested. Bit of a tail snap coming out of turn 5 as the rear tyres grapple for grip. A little bit bumpy as well over the inside sausage curve through 7. Polymaki taking no liberties here, pushing very hard to improve on his position 14 as things stand. A 10th of a second still gaining 5 places. And there is a tenth of a second looking at his delta he's up on so far. Needs to continue to find the time in the final sector, but there is a little bit of traffic to deal with. Couple of stabs again in the car, rotated through 12, and it should just be elementary through 13 and 14. Throw the car in, hope that it sticks, and hope you can carry as much speed as possible through the curves. Cutting the beam will go with Polymaki. Is it an improvement? It is. 11 flat. Good final sector as well. Gets him inside the top 10, but could get bumped down in a little bit later.
Dirk's invalid. That'll be the end of the session for him. I'm looking at Snacks. He started his lap right now. Lawrence is about to finish his lap. He is improving, but is it going to be enough? He's improved by 3.5 hundredths at the second sector. What is it going to be when he across the line? It will be the best time by 14 milliseconds. So Snacks has some work to do, and he's down on his time by 7 hundredths. Not good to see, but Gavroche cannot get any higher. He's stuck in third. Tico behind on his time as well. Everman is holding back, and he's going to be setting one final lap. He's 7 thousandths up. Van de Geest gets into the 110s.
And Max Bricker was very wide, is improving by a lot, but invalidated through the final corner. That could be very, very costly. Bumped down to 7th. Melwin Effman up by 700ths. This is his second attempt at getting this lap time done. Tico to the line doesn't improve, down by nearly a tenth and a half. Gavroche done. Snacks is done as well. 1.5 seconds down. So it is to the Mercedes of Melwin Effman to try and steal it away from Lawrence. We see the split, but he's down as well by a tenth and a half. Drops it through turn 10, and that should be that in qualifying. Lars Kramer not improving, neither of the two McLarens, and that is going the way of Enstone. It is Alpine on pole. Lawrence with a buzzer beater, taking it away from Snacks, who couldn't find the time at the death of the session.
So Momara coming through to set a time 16th. And I do think, yes, that is it. Jordan's went into the gravel, and Phil is well down on his time. So that will, and Jordan's lost his wings anyway, so he can't get anywhere. So that is it. Lawrence on pole in the Enston Alpine. So that means he actually takes the lead of the championship, because you get 1 point for pole position. Stop the count!
He'll be hoping to stop the count.
Not stop.
Takes one solitary step away from his rivals already.
Yes, he loves his qualifying at Catalonia. He does, and he's completely broken all the rules and went back to the 70s of speeding in the pit lane, because there was no speed pit limit before. I think it was 94, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it was in around that, the early 90s, wasn't it? We wait for drivers to return to the pits. That was a really interesting end to the session, though. Not that many finding time on the final lap. Gavroche found a little bit. Lawrence obviously found a couple of tenths to take it away from Snacks, but no real improvement for Efferman, Tico. Mats van der Geest with a big jump up. That's an important lap for the driver that comes in as maybe one of the favourites, the best placed from season 41 that's still on the grid. Let's not forget. But as we cut away to the black screen in the Haas garage, it is by 14 milliseconds. Lawrence from Snacks with Gavroche just over a tenth further back. Look how tight things are, though. Max van der Geest, Tico, Melwin Effman and Max Bricker all within 2 tenths of a second. Jaden Polymaki and Kevin Zunerberg rounding out your top 10, separated by just over 2 tenths of a second. Nico down 11th, ahead of Lars Kramer, Sieben, White Sheep, the F2 champion, let's not forget. Dirk, maybe a little bit disappointed, down in P15 ahead of Simone Mara. Vineben, I should say. Zane, Jordan, and then Phil bringing up the rear in the McLaren car. This sets us up nicely, though. Very, very close. I think the first lap, like we've spoken about a couple of times, is going to be absolutely key.
Yeah, as you can see, I've got the timing up, because why not? Or it should be this side, I think. But yes, as you can see, that is the times for the session. Is it?
Now, that is wet.
gloomy.
I can see intermediate tyres in the McLaren garage.
No.
So we could be in for a wet start. That wasn't expected. It doesn't look like it's raining, and I can just see soft tyres there. So maybe we're on the knife edge of dry and wet weather. It's definitely very overcast. You can see in the skies,
really
no
nice.
setup changes because Parc Ferme will be employed. But this could be very, very interesting. An extra added bit of spice on the run down to turn 1. If there is a little bit limited grip, then, well, This could be a very interesting run. It doesn't look wet. That's the thing. And you can see those intermediate tyres no longer in the McLaren garage. That's a little bit of a sneaky clue as to what tyre the game selected. So maybe we just need to take that with a pinch of salt as well. We won't leak what tyres anybody's on, of course, because there might be some spies watching for all the people that are here. Hopefully you enjoyed that qualifying session. And hopefully you're going to enjoy the 33 laps that sit ahead of us for the first race, the first round of Season 42 here in PSGL, PSF1, as Logan has said before. The top dogs on the console side on the F125 game. Going hammer and tong at each other, trying to steal a march and battle for the most prestigious, I would say, console racing title in sim racing.
Definitely. Just to mention, I've just checked, and no, there are no intermediate tyres in anyone. It is dry. You can't see any raindrops right now, but that is subject to change. We're just waiting for the start to begin. Be any moment now. They don't give any indication, which doesn't really help us because we could be in a long monologue and say, "Oh, the race is starting." Yeah,
normally we have a 2-minute warning, so people can get their strategies without being hurried, let's say, by people that are trying to maybe just try and catch some people out. Everybody that is here watching as well, give us your predictions. Who's the winner for round one? Who's going to take it? Who's going to take the championship lead? Lawrence, the pole sitter, took it by 14 milliseconds ahead of Snacks. But from Season 41, neither of them were able to convert it. Volakongen's in the chat. I'm delighted to see that.
Hello.
The reigning champion has jumped in, and you can see there, repping SCI. It's an SCI front row lockout as well, so that those two stablemates doing very, very well. Hope Volakongen doing well as well. We can enjoy.
Sci-fi.
No sci-fi. You can enjoy the first round of the season. I'm gonna bypass that like you never said it. But we're still waiting. I'm still intrigued that the game potentially chose intermediate tyres. Max Bricker has been put in as a shout. That's an interesting one. Snacks is the GOAT. He is very quick over one lap. Max Bricker could maybe have been inside the top 5. Made a bit of a mistake through the final corner. Down in, I think, P7 or 8, but still very much in the ballpark to try and battle away for a podium. Maybe a little bit more. We don't know what this run down to turn 1 is going to be. Long run down to turn number 1 as well. Not a heavy braking zone necessarily, but it can get a little bit dicey. Very possible for drivers to trip over one another. Yeah,
I was about to say, it could be raining, but they decided to simulate the 2026 potential restart by just going...
by just not getting on the grid, clearly. I mean, somebody is obviously very indecisive about the fuel they want to use, because this is taking an absolute age. We could have rerun qualifying once again and thrown it back. An interesting one. As we wait again for the lights to appear. It says waiting for players.
For another 30 seconds, I know that.
Please. Come on, guys. The suspense is killing me. Jordan's jumped in the Discord saying somebody press go. Clearly, everybody's got stage fright, apparently. They don't want to be the first person to get us going. I didn't realise there was quite so much anticipation for this first race. We're going to wait anyway. That should make the run down to turn 1 even more exciting if people are maybe a little bit more nervous than they were led to believe, or leading on to some of their rivals as well. As we wait, still nobody pressing go. I mean, are they allergic to the button? Here we go.
No, they are.
For some reason, we're riding on board. It's Alpine versus Williams. Long run down to turn 1. And for the first time in Season 42, we are racing at the Circuit de Catalunya. Lawrence gets off the grid like a shot. We're hoping to try and hold on to the lead, but the slipstream is going to be powerful on this run into the first braking zone. Gavros looking for space, ducking and weaving behind the 2 leaders. Almost contact between the Williams and the Ferrari. The apex of turn 1 as both Haas drivers tumbling through the field, losing places hand over fist. Gavros fancied it around the outside of turn 3 with a door slammed in his face by Snacks. Didn't want to throw second place in the bin after his good qualifying. Mats von der Geest holding fourth ahead of Melwood Efferman. Then comes Jane Tico losing a couple of places. Big gaggle of cars battling for their lower reaches inside the top 10 as Gavros under pressure. Big concertina. There's damage for one of the salvos as Tico into the grass, missing half of his front wing. I think there's a couple of other stragglers in there as well.
Yeah, Simone Mara had a spin at turn 2. There was a massive incident involving Tico, and it looks like is that Jordan as well fighting with Tico, who has lost his wing, or part of his wing definitely. White Sheep has lost a bit of swing as well, so a bad start for the kick servers in what could be their last season in PSGL as we head around the final part of the first lap. I'm trying to see who else has got damage.
Lot of
Phil
wing
is trying to
damage.
get past. Oh yeah, there's a lot of wing damage at turn 5?
So it's Max
yes,
Bricker caught up, Jordan, Tico, Vine, Ben, Dirk's missing half of his front wing as well. So that has taken a lot of casualties. That concertina, that bump and run we saw down into turn 4. That's what can happen on the opening lap here at Barcelona. Let's not forget, Gavroche and Max von der Geest were also getting entangled and intertwined into turn 5 also. The Ferrari had to go on the defensive because the Red Bull chucked it down the inside, did a decent job to hold on the other Ferrari on the move in the groove down the inside of 4. Goes Nico, didn't qualify particularly well, but now nestled nicely inside the top 10. Can he keep it? It's going to be the outside of turn 5. Little bit of a jink, little bit of contact made. Kuhneman going to try and keep it in there on the inside, but can't quite defend, although still having it out side by side for the last 25 seconds. He'll have the inside live, and it's the high road for Nico into the chicane. Got to be careful of the sausage curbs. Again, argy-bargy. But it's Kevin Kuhnberg that does drop down into position number 9 with Lars Kramer now sniffing at his heels also as very wide goes White Sheep through turn 9.
Looks like Steve trying to get past White Sheep, trying to take advantage of his wing damage. Going around the turn. Doesn't look like he's going to get it yet. By the way, Simone Mara has popped back up to the pack, so but he is down in 19th. Mark Bricker, of course, the only driver to pit is Plum last. And Tycho has got around Phil despite his wing damage. So a brave move, and it has worked out. But now we're going to be starting seeing these battles explode. And look at this. We've got, who do we have? I think they've all made it to the end. No, they have not. It looks like it's Vine X Ben. He's got past Dirk, and he's completely skipped the entirety of turn 2. And I think it's because that wing is not helping him whatsoever. He's now pretty much last place if we don't count Max Bricker, who's already pit.
That's a lot of damage there for Dirk. He's obviously given somebody a big whack in the backside in those opening lap scuffles and skirmishes that we saw. A lot of drivers favouring the medium tyres, only a few on the hard, 5 to be precise. This is the leader of them, Sieb, in the McLaren car ahead of Zane, then Vine Ben. You've also got Phil and Jordan on the white stripe hard compound tyres, and now Max Bricker as well, who will be doing the safety car dance for the remaining 30 laps of the Spanish Grand Prix, although we haven't seen Bernd Mailander in over 6 months, so answers on a postcard potentially. White Sheep under pressure there from the McLaren and the Aston Martin into turn 10. You can see they're missing the left-hand end plate. That car is going to be understeering like a boat, in particular through turn 12. Such a long, endless corner. Horrible, horrible understeer. The front tyre is going to be screaming for a little bit of mercy. That front left in particular where the damage is wide again through the final corner. This should be elementary for the McLaren to jump up into 11th place. No DRS for the Sauber, and he is a sitting duck down the straight despite the reduced downforce. And the Aston Martin going to have a go down the inside as well. Late route from Zane does get up into 12th as Dirk is the first retiree of the season. Lasted all but 3 racing laps.
First start for Dirk's season. He's thrown in the towel already, going nowhere, and he's decided to call it a day. White Sheep really struggling. I think he might have to pit early here if these end plates missing has costing him, so it's not going well for him. As Vine makes a mistake in turn 5, gets in turn 5, so he's going to try and get up the order and get behind his teammate who collided with him earlier. I don't want to be doing that again, will you? The top 5 or top 6 or 7 are separated by 6-7 tenths, sorry. But yeah, it doesn't seem to be much battling there as a damaged end plate kicked Sauber sandwich is what Vine is stuck in right now, and he's got to get past one before he gets past the other. Coming out of the final corner, he will have the DRS again, maybe the last season, depending on when the DLC is released, for this. Doesn't seem to be many other battles of note, so we'll just watch on this one. Should be easy pickings for the Alpine. He's through, and now the Kick Sauber battle will resume. Which end plate that is damaged will be better? It turns out it will be Tycho. He's up into 14th now, and now Phil is going to try and get past them both.
Oh, he's fancying it down the inside into 4. A little bit of space there as the RB of Jordan ran wide, but it's actually White Sheep doing a great job to hold it around the outside there of turn 4. Surely the increased front downforce of the McLaren will allow him to get through, but brave under braking goes White Sheep. A little bit of contact, maybe a love tap at the rear as Phil slams into the diffuser. There's contact behind them. Jordan, big crash into the wall. He's lost his front left tyre, and the safety car has been deployed, everyone. Simone Mara's got no front wing. Max Bricker is absolutely delighted, and for the first time since season 40 the safety car has been deployed.
40?
And that looked like a comedy of errors.
Oh, yeah, it's unfortunate reasons as well. Simone Mara and Jordan battling to turn 5, and Jordan make what seems like a mistake. I don't know if Simone tapped him sideways with the tyre friction, but Jordan went sideways. It looks like he lost it trying to get the revs and slammed into Simone Mara, collected Simone Mara, and then went into the wall. And that is the end of Jordan's race, the end of V-Carb's night. After just 4 laps, Simone Mara is in with a completely gone front wing. Looks like a Formula Ford car on the front there. Who remembers them? I think it's just F4 now, which makes logical sense. But the safety car is back. It looks like... Actually, hold on. It's not Bernd Maylander. Oh my gosh. Apparently Bernd Maylander wasn't missing all along. He's on holiday in Barbados.
He's
The
back.
safety car is... No, he's not back. It's the safety car The safety car is back, but the driver's not. I've been told it's a driverless Mercedes.
What?
I can't believe it. They didn't tell me. It is a driverless Mercedes. Yes, we do have storylines in PSGL. Can you believe it? It's a driverless Mercedes, and that's why it's so slow, because the technology isn't that advanced yet. But yeah, I think that it came down to lag from Jordan, which is quite unfortunate. Yeah, yeah, everyone was thinking it was going to be Connor that would replace Bernd Maylander when he was on holiday, but it's not. It's just a driverless. Because, of course, I do believe Kryptonite is now taking Connor's position. I miss Connor already. Of course, Connor, or Big C, was a F1 esports driver once, upon a time, alongside Jarno Opmeer. Everyone knows who he is, I'm sure. But unfortunately, I do believe he's no longer part of the organisation. He decided to step down, and we do miss him. But we got Kryptonite still. Hello, Kryptonite. Hope you're watching. Hope you're enjoying the action that is PSGL, PlayStation, Formula 1 on F125. Here, the first round of the 42nd season at the Circuit of Barcelona, Catalonia. We are under safety car. And it's only taken 4 laps for the driverless safety car to make its first appearance.
We touch base. Top 13 haven't stopped. Most of the drivers that had damage or picked up damage in that collision that we saw that brought out the safety car between Mara and Jordan DHL have stopped. So Lars Kramer's been in, Tico, Smo Mara and White Sheep. Max Bricker boxed at the end of lap 1. So he is now back in the game on the hard compound tyres. Will have to stop again. You'd be hard-pressed to try and take the hard compound tyres to the end of the race at this stage. I mean, you'd be a brave man to try it, but by all means, give it a go. Roll the dice if you fancy it. They're going to have to try and work their way through, but people not really willing to give up track position, which is expected. You can see drivers weren't really battling towards the front end of the pack. They were more interested in trying to keep the temperatures down, the engine temperature in particular, keep that as cool as possible, because you don't want that overheated, because you are going to be down on power and it will be detrimental. There's a safety car, the driverless safety car. You can see nobody there in the driver's seat. Will peel off into the pits, and it'll be Lawrence that'll back the pack up through the final sector, preparing to plant the right foot, bury it into the floor of his Renault-engined Alpine car. Renault engine for not much longer, as the Mercedes switch will come with the 26 DLC. They try and get some heat into those medium compound tyres again. Scrub tyres, so they should heat up a little bit faster than if they were brand new. He's got the Williams of snacks to deal with. Can the Golf liveried Williams steal a march? Gavroche and Mats van der Geest were both punchy on the opening lap. But when does Lawrence choose to bite the bullet and bolt it before we get to the final corner? Foot is flat to the floor. And to start lap number 8, we're racing again under green flags. There's a McLaren further back, I think, Sieb, who's very, very slow through the final corner. Could come under the caution under pressure. Haas of Kuhnberg as well, very close to the back of Nico, but it's still Lawrence who has it covered into the braking zone of turn 1 ahead of Snacks, Gavroche, Max van der Geest and Melwin Efferman as Tico moving forward. Battles at the very back. Is White Sheep getting stuck in with Max Brick, who's on the used tyres. Big tail snap for Lars Kramer in front. That puts Simone Mara out of kilter. White Sheep Buffet driving there says thank you very much. I'll help myself, and maybe it's a couple of places because he's dangling those to the inside of turn 4. But Lars Kramer slams said door in his face. But it's a great exit for the Sauber. He's got some better downforces. Oh, he just has to avoid his teammate who's trundling there on the outside into turn 5. Lars Kramer has the inside line to hold on. We are somehow 3 wide on the grass on the inside. Is Tico trying to come through? The two Salvers not going to back down, and both of them sent spinning the wrong way. Innocent bystander Simone Mara and Max Bricker. Lars Kramer's got away with that one.
10-second penalty for White Sheep. With a collision that might be removed, and it's getting a bit feisty now. Max Bricker and Tycho now trying to get the battle resumed on, but it looks like, and oh, is that another push from White Sheep? That's White Sheep race ruined the champion from the bottom, from the division below last season, having a horrible start in that alternate Kicksauber livery. He gets past Max Bricker, who has damage, so I imagine we'll have to pit. Yep, Max Bricker back in the pits the second time tonight. 9 laps as well, only two pit stops already. You don't want them having that, especially in just 33 lap race. Person number 50% of a Grand Prix distance. It is Lawrence that still leads Snatch. The gaps are around 4 or 5 tenths as it stands, but big gap between Lars Kramer and Tycho, of course, after all that chaos ensued. Does look like that no damage for Tico or Simone Mara. White Sheep, it doesn't look like they got any damage with the exception of Max Bricker.
Yes, I think everybody else managed to keep it going. They might have just stayed out to try and, not lose too much time. I have respect for Max Bricker there for not jumping into the pits and retiring from the race, because that's what a couple of drivers would have done in that scenario. Melvin Efferman under the cosh here, 9 tenths per second off the back of Von der Geest. Don't want to follow too close because, like we said, the temperatures will begin to skyrocket and you should potentially see down the straight. Yes, getting out of the slipstream, more importantly, the turbulent air to keep the temperatures down. Snacks closing up to the back of Lawrence, but shows absolutely no interest in sending it down the inside. Happy to hold station in second for the time being. Then it is Gavroche and Max Von der Geest. Finished 5th last time we raced here at Spain in season 41. Currently occupying 4th. Can he go a couple of places better and get himself up onto the podium? Then it's Efferman ahead of Jade and Polly. Mackie had a good restart, was all over the back of the Williams, but couldn't quite make the move stick. Then it's Nico ahead of Kevin Zunberg and Sib, rounding out your top 10 on the hard compound tyres at which he started the Grand Prix on.
Lap 10 here at Circuit Catalunya. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of battles right now. Maybe not at the back either, like there was earlier. So looking at the tyres, as we said, half of them on hards, half of them on mediums, and it's still overcast. Doesn't seem to be any change in the weather as of yet. Could it change at the end like it was in Brazil last season? Oh my, that was something.
One of the best endings to a PSGL race I've ever seen. Classic Brazil is into the pits, dives the Ferrari of Nico, going for the undercut early, deciding to get rid of those medium tyres, especially considering we did 3 laps under the safety car. So could that be a 2-stop? Can you stretch the mediums 22 laps, 23 laps? It's a bit of a tall order, but these drivers should be capable of making those strategies work. But he might be running on the rims of those white-walled Pirelli tyres by the time we get to lap number 33. That has left Kevin Zunberg in a little bit of strife, 1.0 seconds off the back of Polly Mackie now. So just needs to try and get himself back within the 1 second window to make sure that he doesn't lose the DRS train in front of him. And it will, of course, drag the hard compound runners behind back towards that leading train. And everybody's pretty equidistant. 4 tenths, 4 tenths, 4 tenths, 6 tenths, 4 tenths. Just keeping their distance at this stage of the race, keeping the temperatures down to make sure they don't suffer from big overheating issues.
So it looks like the gap has been cut down to 3 tenths, but that may extend when they go around the corners. I have noticed Lawrence has got faster in the corners. Snart's down to now 6 tenths the gap. That could change when we get to that DRS zone. Oh, we got a pit stop from Lawrence. So he's in, and Gavroche is also in. The undercut has been committed to Kevin Zonnenberg, also in. So Snats now leads Max van der Geest and Melvin Efferman in the top 3. Jaden down there in 4th, Polly Mackie in 5th, running at the top 5. We have pit stops for those 3 I already mentioned. It looks like they are going to join ahead, or are they going to join ahead of Nico? Nico coming around the stretch now. Yep, they'll be ahead of Nico, with exception of Kevin Zunneberg, who was behind before the pit stops, but should be relatively in the same position. And now the Haas's are 17th and 18th, and the Ferraris are 15th and 16th.
Making that stop though, and it's interesting. They've obviously decided that you've got to go early because you don't want to be risked getting undercut, because that track position is so imperative. Snap's trying to turn on the afterburners. He's dropped Max von der Geest out of 1 second, so this could be signalling to us that the Williams is going to react to the punch pulled by the Alpine and the Ferraris on the previous couple of laps. We'll see what the trajectory is of Snacks coming round the penultimate corner. Does he dive into the pits? Yes. So we are going for this slightly earlier, slightly shorter medium tyre stint. Von der Geest in, Efferman in. Jaden's going to have to stay out, hung out to dry by his teammate. Polymaki in the same boat. HMS a little bit stuffed as the fastest lap of the race goes to the McLaren of Sieb on the hard compound tyres. Those white stripe tyres just starting to come fairly nicely into an operating window that they can work them a little bit harder and trust them a little bit more. But where is Snacks going to come out? Does he keep net second place in this race? We see the Williams piling down out of the pit lane. There over the crest comes the Alpine. There goes the Ferrari behind. Scratch the undercut. The overcut has got Snacks into the net race lead.
It's worked for Snacks. He is half a second ahead of Lawrence. But remember, Lawrence has got his tyres warmed up. Snacks doesn't get tyre. Remember, you don't get your tyres heated when you're coming out of the pit, so he's got to warm them up as quickly as possible. Looks like he's done that, but how long can he hold this lead for? That's the question. The two Ferraris are in a bit of a battle as well as they try to catch up to Van der Geest, who is ahead of them both. Lawrence keeping tabs with Snats at the moment. Two drivers who are on the mediums stayed out during the safety car, yet to pit, and I imagine they'll be pitting this lap. Jaden is coming in, but Polymaki is deciding to stay out and go one more lap. Sieb and Zane are the leading of the hard tyre runners that have yet to pit.
This is fascinating. You see all over the place. Snacks not troubling the apex of turn 12, right under the microscope, because that is the pulse that sat right underneath the rear wing of the Williams. The undercut not working at all because Max von der Geest has managed to overcut Gavroche as well by a lap. So something clearly happening on the outlap of the Alpine and the Ferrari, or a stellar inlap for the Williams and the Red Bull. But this is the DRS. This is the pass to take the net race lead back off the hands of the Williams, and Snacks doesn't fight it. Lawrence, a little bit of a scare there as he lost track position, but does use his slightly warmer hard compound tyres to get back ahead of the Williams and back into the net race lead for the pole sitter. Von der Geest still holding third in the train ahead of the two Scarlet Ferraris, with Jaden not too far back either. He's got 3 lap fresher tyres than Nico, 2 lap fresher tyres than Gavroche. That could be crucial come the end of the race. The undercut has not worked out at all.
It hasn't really, but then again, that's what can happen in Catalonia if you don't time your undercut right. It could go all completely wrong. It could ruin your chances of winning the race. But Polymacki's been trying to overcut here. I should think he'd be pitting this lap. Yep, he's coming in now. 14 laps on those tyres, 19 on the hards, you'd imagine. But I do think he may go down more here, which is very good. But, of course, we'll see what the hard tyre runners will do. Will they pit later? How late will they pit? Will they have to get no choice other than to pit on the safety car? Yeah, it keeps doing that, sorry. It does take a while for it to load and out the pit lane. It doesn't show that it's going out of the pit lane. So Polymaki will jump in this gaggle of cars as the two net leaders are battling again, and Snat is through.
It's trading blows, just swapping places, sparring early on in this stint as Snacks does to Lawrence what Lawrence did to Snacks on the previous lap, and the Alpine this time rolling out the red carpet to the Williams blasting on through. Polymaki, that overcut has worked out beautifully. He's ahead of his teammate after a 2-lap overcut. I don't know what's happened to the tyre warm-up phase. It is slightly overcast, definitely track conditions and track temperatures are slightly cooler than expected, and that has clearly had a detrimental impact on what has gone on.
As indeed, so we see who is fighting on right now. It is Snats, who's now 1.5 seconds behind Simone Mara, who's had a difficult race start, but is in 8th right now, but still yet to pit, but has better tyres than those in the top 4 who started with those tyres. I think those hard tyres they have can get to the end? I don't think so.
It'll be a tall order as Snacks punches in the purple, fastest lap of the race. We won't want to spend too much time behind the Aston Martin. Thought about it maybe down to turn 1, trying to spook Simone Mara into just braking slightly too late and running wide and opening the door for the driver that qualifies second, but is now the net race leader to follow through. We can see there the over-the-shoulder shot, the boatload of understeer you get. Indecision there from Snacks as well. Simone Mara clearly opened the door for Snacks to send it down the inside of 4, but he didn't want to go barreling through. Do we this time send it to the inside of 5? No. Simone Mara is not making this very difficult. He's wide through 5 as well, giving Snacks a lot of daylight and free real estate. Eventually the Williams comes through, but that felt like it could have been done, 7 corners beforehand? And Lawrence, knowing Lawrence, is going to be a little bit more punchier, you would expect.
Yeah, Lawrence is going to try and do everything he can to get past Simone Mara, but it looks like there's going to be no contest from Simone Mara when it comes to Lawrence and Max van der Geest. But Lawrence, making a big mistake there, but holds on, loses some time to Snacks though. He's about 7 tenths down now, and he'll have to deal with Van der Geest around the final corner as we go down the DRS straight once again.
Van der Geest did really well there. Had to slam the anchors on, was late darting down the inside of the Aston Martin. Wanted to keep tabs on the 2 leaders in front and did a very good job as Gavroche is through. The other Ferrari, I think, is going to come down the inside into 1 as well. Yes, Simone Mara doesn't put up too much of a fight. Through goes Nico. Polymaki just balked there. It's going to have to be the outside of turn 3. Let's see, he can try the up and down. He's going to have so much more grip, traction, confidence as he charges around the outside. Still eyeball to eyeball on the run into 4. Can he brake later? Yes, he can. As the Aston Martin now looms large in his mirrors rather than out of the halo. And that is Polymaki to 13th. Jaden very close behind as well. Thought about it, you could just see there. Just had a little wiggle over to the inside, but got really good traction out of 5. Can he make it work? Flat through 6 and into 7. It's so difficult to follow through here. He's not too slow in the middle set to Simone Mara, but you don't really want your tyres worked up, tucked up underneath the rear wing of a slow Aston Martin in front of you.
I don't, absolutely not. Team leads Zane at the moment, but yet to pit. The top 4, as I said, yet to pit. Let's see what other fights we've got here. Jaden's closing up, but they're not at the DRS straight yet. It looks like Tico is coming in for another stop, so it's going to be a 2-stop. It must be another set of hards. Tycho, of course, had a difficult start, lost his wing. Got in the pit, got it changed during the safety car, and Everman is out. Everman has retired in the pit lane.
Ooh, his teammate was nearly on the move into turn 1, very close to the back of Nico, but that's not a great debut there for Melwin Everman. Qualified nicely, was running well. His teammate really feisty here through 3. Nico's got to go on the defensive as they enter into combat, but isn't close enough to slide it down the inside of the Scarlet Ferrari into turn 4. It's this battle between Silver and Scarlet for supremacy in 11th and 12th. At the moment, locking the rears, back end stepping out under braking into turn 5. Polymaki, I think, is in a really strong position here if he can work his way through the traffic. He's got the best tyres of anybody in the lead train. That will pay dividends in the second half of this Grand Prix.
Trying to close up to Nico right now. He gets DRS, but so does Nico, so it's not going to be that easy for him to make up any gains. Yeah, I'm not sure why Everman retired. Maybe he got some damage, or maybe he went off somewhere. He didn't seem like he was in a good spot to begin with. Maybe his strategy was ruined by the safety car, and it looks like he wasn't going anywhere as a result. So yeah, that is enough of Everman's day done. But what have we got here? Any battles of note?
Looking is still under pressure, Nico. Zoomman gets past Mara, but that's pretty regulationary. Still Polymaki applying the blowtorch to the back of the second Ferrari of Nico, but unable to get closer on this occasion. He's going to have to file through the first and middle sector, still in the wake of that Ferrari in front. Nico needs to make sure he doesn't lose tabs on his teammate Gavroche in front. That gap did extend out to 8 tenths of a second, but a good run through turn 4 gets him back to under half a second off the back of his teammate. But further forward, we're still as we were. Snacks from Lawrence, from Van der Geest, from Gavroche, your net top 4. Still yet to stop in this race, the top 4 as well of Sieb, Zane, Phil and Vine Ben. Lars Kramer and White Sheep boxed under the first safety car. They're still going around fairly nicely, but you would imagine have to stop again with another 15 laps of this Grand Prix still to go.
Yeah, it's a long slog, so I can't imagine to get to the end on these. Sieb's still choosing not to pit, and Zane also. But Phil and Vine, so it's the 2 McLarens, and then Zane and Vine. It's quite unusual at this staying out this long, but then again, I think they want the maximum out of their medium tyres to go on aggressive, as White Sheep has made the move on Lars Kramer. Both drivers pit during the safety car. And so did, I believe, Mara and Max Booker obviously pit because he got damage in a battle involving two Saubers. But he is about 25 seconds down from Simone Mara, who is in the chain. Still hasn't been getting anywhere. At least he's still getting on.
100%. Feels like we're digging in now into the trenches once again at this phase of the Grand Prix, looking after the tyres, saving a bit of fuel, making sure you've got the battery as well, keeping the temperatures, the engine temperatures down and under control as well as you prepare for that blast, those final 5 laps, the bonanza at the end to try and steal a march on some of your rivals. Polly Mackie is the one I question. Maybe he can be a bit punchy, but it's just so hard to follow and stay close and really attack through the dirty air. He's now struggling to cling onto the coattails of the two Friars and is actually closer to Jaden behind than Nico in front now, so maybe just worked his tyres a little bit too much as Phil is the first of the hard runners, the hard one-stoppers I should say, hard to medium one-stoppers to jump into the pits. That's around about the right time to take the mediums comfortably to the end of the race. Could be dangerous if his pace is strong.
Yeah, of course. So he gets on the medium tyre, so he'll have the advantage in terms of tyre degradation, or not degradation, tyre performance, but definitely not degradation. Snats is closing up to Lars Kramer, who is still on older hards. I can imagine he's going to try and get past him as soon as possible in that Red Bull versus Gulf Williams. And Lauren's going to be watching on underplay to see if there's any mistakes, we can take advantage of them, see if we get any good fortune, perhaps the net race league back.
This is going to be an opportunity maybe for Lawrence. Hasn't been able to get that close to Snacks in the past couple of laps, courtesy of the dirty air. But with the Williams bolt behind the slower Sauber, behind the slower Red Bull, maybe there's an opportunity just to be sneaky as the top two are into the pits as well. Now Sieb and Zane getting shot of their hard compound tyres. Vibe Ben into the box as well, as goes White Sheep in the Sauber. So Lars Kramer will take over at the front of the field. That is good news for Snacks because he'll get a lovely slingshot past the Red Bull and then won't have to deal with the Sauber through the first half of lap 22. You'd imagine this should be fairly easy. Down into turn 1, but no, he's going to fight it around the outside. Snacks again, a little bit 50-50 there, unsure, tentative down the inside. Lawrence will be smelling blood potentially because he's caught up behind Lars Kramer going through. Opportunity is there. Lawrence isn't close enough. Max von der Geest right in this as well. Lawrence actually has to go defensive into 4 because he has the white ball nipping at his heels. Going to slide out slightly wide, just causing a little bit of chaos here, Lars Kramer, along with Snacks because he's unwilling to send it down the inside.
I know why he's doing this. His VNT stablemates are in 4th, 5th and 6th, and they're going to be challenging SCI. It's 2v4 when it comes down to stables, esports stables. This is going to be something. 2 Ferraris, 2 Red Bulls, a Williams and an Alpine, both from 2 different esports teams. And now here comes the move from Snats. He gets past Lars Kramer. Anything else happening? Looks like Lawrence is stuck behind Lars Kramer, and this is going to be very beneficial for the drivers behind him. The 3 VNTs behind. It's well, good luck, Lawrence. You're going to be bombarded left, right, and centre, I think.
Should blast past, although the DRS for Lars Kramer will help him down the straight. Lawrence had a better run out of the final corner. Moving out, you can see getting out of the turbulent air, but Lars Kramer with low wings has got Lawrence covered down into turn 1. Might have 6-lap older hard compound tyres, but is not going to go down without a fight as Phil punches in the fast lap of the race. Watch out for those medium runners in the final 5 laps. They're 6 seconds off the back of this train of cars as Snacks is being given the opportunity to extend his legs out front because Lawrence can't get close enough down into turn 1. We know that he's punchy. We know that he likes a late send down the inside, but if he's a little bit too tentative and just stays behind the Red Bull for too long, Snacks is going to be off into the distance and the pole sit is going to be resigned to 2nd place at best, almost pushing the Red Bull through the turn 7-8 chicane. Von der Geest, Gavros, Nico, Polly Mackie and Jaden still following in hot pursuit. Kevin Zumberg at the back of this lead train of cars as well. Snacks sent it down the inside into 10 on the previous lap. Lars Kramer has Lawrence covered again, even without the DRS, and Snacks is 1.5 seconds further up the road.
This is all Snacks right now. Lars Kramer is holding them up. He's only helping Snacks. I don't know what is the plan by Lars Kramer, just to annoy the others. But he's
He can do
making
what
it
he
a
likes, though.
one-horse race, and yeah, exactly. But he's making it a one-horse race. He's not helping anyone here. He's only helping himself.
This time, Lawrence
is
through.
Finally through. There he goes.
Max
And
von der Geest
the
allowed
others
through
are
by his teammate as well. And the two Ferraris are going to try and get involved as well. Gavros thought about it around the outside of 3. Lars Kramer still grappling for grip on those hard compound tyres that are ailing at best. Oh, he's trying around the outside. This is brave from Gavros. There wasn't the space there, but he made the space around the outside of 4. But the defensive shape is thrown by Lars Kramer, who gets loosey-goosey on the exit over 4. And now got to be careful around the outside again, holding the inside perfectly. Gavros still kept in his back pocket. Excellent defence from Lars Kramer because it looked lively at the rear of the car through turn 4.
Both drivers are catching up. Polmaki, Jaden, Ken Sonnenberg now joining the party. It looks like it's going to be a battle for second place right now. Sorry. The two Ferraris chasing down Lars Kramer. They have to brake earlier now because, of course, they've got much more grip than Lars Kramer into the corners. But Lars Kramer putting up a great defence. But I imagine he'd have to pit now, surely.
I mean, he might just try and extend this as long as he possibly can. He's trying to make this one-stop strategy work. He pitted under the first safety car, the only safety car we had. Surely, no, he's still got DRS to Max von der Geest in front. His teammate's done him a solid. He's going to keep him ahead of the Ferraris, diving to the inside. Goes Max von der Geest. Lawrence saw it late, tried to throw the defensive shape, but von der Geest was committed, chugged it down the inside and takes second place away from the pole sitter.
Yeah, it is really a Max in a Red Bull in second place. Now he's going to chase down Snacks, but good luck. You're 2.3 seconds down. You're going to have to deploy a lot of energy if you want to get close to Snacks. It doesn't look like he's going to get anywhere at this rate, but you never know. Stranger things have happened. There could be a late safety car if there's any incident further behind. Two Ferraris only battling themselves right now. Colin Mackey is licking his lips under that helmet. We're going to see if he can get a move on against any of the VNT drivers. But the plan, I don't think, has worked for Lars Kramer. He's only just helped one of the SCI drivers perhaps win this race. But remember, 8 laps to go after this lap. So, again, anything can happen. Sieb has caught up and he's going to be in the hunt, you'd imagine. He's going to get his first chance at passing Kevin Sonnenberg right here. So
right
you have
here.
the superior grip, and you probably have the DRS down the corner, but you never know, he might get some moving done at the first corner, but I don't think he's going to have a chance yet. Nope, not yet.
Oh, he's got a really good
Or
run
maybe
over
now.
the curb. Now he's going to try it around the outside of 3. Couldn't quite get the overlap. Got to be careful because Zane is chomping at the bit to get involved as well. Zunberg has to go defensive. That's not enough to pull off the McLaren, who dives to the inside of 4. Sliding slightly wide goes the Haas on the dirty part of the track. Opens the door wide for Zane to get involved as well, who almost fancied it down the inside of 5 to steal a march and steal 9th place off the hands of Sieb. Big slide as well coming out of turn 5 for the Haas of Zunberg. And that is not good news, dropping out of the points paying positions. You make an excellent point though. Watch the McLarens, watch the Aston Martin of Zane as well. They can be punchy, much better tyres. And there's a lot of drivers in front who are a little bit hobbled in the train.
This is a chance for Sieb to go right up the order, perhaps maybe challenge for the podium. Next up will be Jaden, his fellow IRT stablemate. Can he get the move done quickly to perhaps get a chance at huge points in this, the first round of season 42 of just 10, yes, 10 this season. It's going to be a rapid fire season. It doesn't look like he's going to get a move yet. Nope, he's going to have to wait it out, but Sieb in with a shot. Further up at the lead is 2 seconds. So Max van der Geest has made a few attempts, but I don't think it's going to be enough yet. He's going to have to make some moves here.
Sieb all over the place, ducking, weaving behind Jaden, menacingly in the rear view mirrors of the Williams car. Will it be rinse and repeat from what we saw on the previous lap? Jaden has to go defensive, senses a threat, but Sieb's going to fly straight around the outside into turn 5, but he's bogged behind the Mercedes of Polly Mackey. Can he get the move done? You bet he can get the move done. Gets past the Williams, chucks him in his back pocket, and that is superb racecraft there from Sieb around the outside. He was boxed in, but that didn't hold him back, and he's now very much on the charge towards the podium places.
Sieb is committed. His next opponent will be Polly Mackey in the Mercedes, who's on 12 lap hard tyres. and he's going to be wasting no time. Going to try and get on the inside of Polymaki. Polymaki knows that Steve is there.
Oh, Phil around the outside of the penultimate
corner.
corner, by the way. This is dicey. Sorry to jump in. He's got a penalty, but he tried it around the outside of the penultimate corner to take 11th place off Zumberg. He's going to be under pressure from the Alpine behind. Didn't make it stick, but wow, that was, if he pulled that off, that would have been move of the race.
That would have been, but Sieb is stuck behind Polymaki, nearly ran at the back of him at the first corner, but he's perfectly fine as he comes through. Max van der Geest has lost a 10th. He was at 1.7 at one point, but now it's back to 1.8 behind Snat. He's got to speed up. You can see him there, but he's not putting enough effort in to try and get up. Here's Polymaki defending nicely on Sieb in turn 5. That's what you should be doing to stay where you are. The two Ferraris still stuck behind Lars Kramer, who's now out of DRS range. Bad news for the Ferraris.
We've turned the wick up to 11 here. Zane still on the move, shadowing every move pulled by Jane in the Williams, whose potential points possibilities now staring down the barrel at falling outside the top 10, although might be given a cushion because of Phil's 3-second time penalty. The two Ferraris right underneath the rear wing of Lars Kramer through turn 12. Through they go, the flash of scarlet and white with Polymaki very much under the cosh as well, because Sieb's got so much more confidence on those mediums through the high-speed sweeps of the final sector. Over the line we go. Kramer, Gavros, Nico, Polymaki, Sieb. 5 cars separated by just over a second. This is going to be like Charles play for the lead Ferrari to get past the Red Bull finally. Gavros is through and up to P4. His teammate will look to try and get through as efficiently as possible as well. There's contact. There's his teammate sliding off into the barrier. I think he got a tap from behind. Was it Polymaki? Was it Sieb going through turn 2? Well, there's a chance of points that's just been thrown in the bin.
Yeah, he went out of the top 10. He's down 13th now. And, well, Phil's got a penalty as well, I should mention. So the...
Sieb's down the inside of Polymaki. Wow, that's aggressive. He chucked it down the inside. Bit of bumper cast, but he won't care one jot about it. Polymaki caught short as the McLaren picks the pocket of the Mercedes.
I think that was fair. It looked like he had enough room to go down the inside. Sieb now in 6th, and now right behind Lars Kramer, who's been the bottleneck for these past few laps. And now it's going to be a bit of a challenge because Lars Kramer knows how to defend his position. And he's on 23 lap old hard. Well, good luck trying to get past Sieb.
Well, Sieb's not going to let anything hold him back, though.
Yes, he's not going to be taking anything. He's not going to be setting back at all. He's going to be going right for the jugular. Is he going to try and get it from the first turn? 4 laps to go, by the way. Still, Snats leads by 1.4 seconds. Still, Max cannot catch up to DRS range in time. He needs to use that DRS, because look, Snats has not got any energy in his battery left. Max does. He's got a bit, well, I can't really say, but he's got way more than Snats. I know that. Sieb is going to try and get past Lars Kramer at turn 5 again. Are you sure?
Oh.
Yes, he is. Much easier this time.
First time was so nice. He almost did it twice, but Lars Kramer's still in the fight on the outside. He tried the cutback. That is how you defend a dive bomb into turn 5. Sieb's just got to change tack there because Lars Kramer, that was very efficiently done. His tyres are absolutely dead. Polymaki wide through turn 9 as well. Sieb still all over the back of him, jinking all over the place. This time to the inside. Does he have the overlap? Can he block off the cutback? Still with a foothold in this battle is Lars Kramer. But into 12 we go. The medium shot McLaren will fly through. Can he get the DRS of Gavros in front? Can he steal it from the Ferrari? He's half a tenth away from getting it at the moment. That would be a lovely safety net on the run down to turn 1. But I think he's got Lars Kramer covered, and he's got a freebie handed to him as well as Gavros picks up a 3-second penalty with 3 laps to go.
So it looks like 4th place right now for Gavros, unless 2 seconds are made up by... looks like 4th place for Sieb, unless Gavros makes up 2 seconds. It doesn't look like he's going to have a chance. Van der Geest is within DRS range. This looks like to be a 3-way battle for the win between Snats, Van der Geest and Lars, assuming they stay in DRS range, of course. Lawrence has fallen out of that DRS range. Van der Geest could actually win this first race of the season if he can close up and make up that energy. They're both on level energy. I've run out of sprite. Sieb is going to try and get past. I think 4th might be the upper limit for Sieb, but I tell you what, he deserves it at this rate. Lars Kramer doing very well to hold on with them 25 lap old tyres. He's created a bottleneck for the entire field and spiced it up completely. Look at them all the way down to 12th. They are fighting for 6th place.
I cannot believe that they haven't gone pop, and Leon's got it right as well. Lars Kramer is doing a decent job, but Max von der Geest is absolutely cooking here. He's now just 3/4 of a second off the back of Snacks. He's got the DRS. It won't be on the penultimate lap, you would say. If he can get close enough on this last lap, we could have a final lap scrap. Snacks has had this race in the palm of his hand. It was gifted to him. He's just had to open it, but that clearly is slightly harder than you would expect. Polymacky deep into one. Tried around the outside of Kramer to take 6th place off his hands. Now could be under the microscope because there is Jaden. There is the Aston Martin of Zane as well. But it looks like he's just about got everything back under control.
So now Max didn't use any energy down the stretch. He's got lots of energy to burn. Snatsky's trying to burn the energy immediately. And this is going to give Van der Geest a chance to move using both DRS and ERS. 1.5 laps to go. Is there a chance for Van der Geest to snatch it away from Snacks despite never leading a lap during the entire race when seemingly it was a tale of 2 SCI drivers? Well,
a race of attrition, though.
This is Max van der Geest's chance to win right here. Can he do it? It seems very unlikely, but he's in with a shot now, a slide, but he's got all that energy. Stats is going to try and defend with all the energy he's got left. But Van der Geest with the superior energy, superior DRS, is he going to make the move? He's going to They've both gone off, and that might be his only chance because, well, actually, maybe
Seaber on the outside of Gavroche, who spun. There's contact into one. The Ferrari slams into the wall, into the side pod of the McLaren, who tried it around the outside, and Gavroche's race is done. Seeb up to 4th. He had the penalty anyway, but that is Scarlet Scuderia pain on the last lap there. Nico kicked out of the points. Now Gavroche out of the top 10 as well. But this battle surely will continue on to the last lap. But Max von der Geest, there wasn't the gap around the outside. He chose the left-hand side, but he was way too committed under brake. You saw that he locked the rears. That's why he went deep. Gavroche is out of the race. Unsurprising after that one. Stewards might want to have a look. It was Seeb charging to the inside, to the outside. They diced and they tussled through the first corner. The Ferrari came off firmly second best, but Snacks has had to survive an almighty barrage in the last 5 laps. Max von der Geest coming at him so quickly, coming hard at it, but it matters nothing now because round the final corner we go. Snacks has held off the Charging Bull to win the season opener of 42. He takes it by 6/10 ahead of Von der Geest, with Lawrence the pole sitter 3rd. Seeb, fantastic punchy drive on the mediums to take 4th from Polymacky. Lars Kramer, hats off. How you've got those hard tyres. 28 laps. That is unbelievable to finish competitively as well. Jaden Zane, Kevin Zunberg and Vibe Ben, your top 10 finishers. The Ferraris, well, 14th and 17th for the Scuderia when they were both looking at a top 5.
Disaster for Ferrari, but Lars Kramer went from 12th to 6th.
Look at this, by the way, around the final corner. Simone Mara and Nico side by side for the final sector.
Yeah, for no points.
Fastest lap, though.
Yeah, but you get no points for that either. You changed the rules. 18th. By the way, am I coming through okay on this? I noticed you cut off. Is it me? It can't be you.
Yeah, you did explode a little bit when the action was kicking off round the as Max von der Geest went slightly wide there into turn 1. Dramatic final braking zone, and 5 different award winners as well. Snacks, your race winner. Simone Mara, you saw the fastest lap at the end. Seeb, driver of the day. Well, a battling drive through. I think he qualified, P15, ends up 4th after that medium stint. 13th in the end, so that's 9 places made up. Very punchy. Tico most overtakes Zane, cleanest driver award. But it is Snacks from 2nd to 1st. Takes it ahead of Max von der Geest, who had one opportunity maybe into turn 1 on the last lap. Tried the outside, didn't work. Has to settle for 2nd place, but stating his claim as well for a championship crusade, with Lawrence rounding out the podium places. Outside of the top 10, it was Tico who was caught up in a few early bumps and scrapes in his Sauber. Phil White Sheep, Simone Mara, Nico, Max Bricker and Gavroche, all classified despite Gavroche not seeing the flag. Melwin Efferman, Jordan and Dirk, the retirees from round 1. Wow, that was exciting. That was much better than I thought a Spanish Grand Prix was going to be.
Yeah, I thought Van de Geest was going to try it. I thought he would save his energy to turn 10, but he didn't. He decided to go for it there, and it may have cost him the victory. Kevin Zonnenberg said it was a boring race. Well,
wasn't from where we were
it's
sitting.
fine. That will do it. The first round of the season is donezo.
It is. If that doesn't get you coming back next week, then I don't know what does, because that was a barnstorming finish. We had alternate strategy. We had an unbelievable effort from Lars Kramer. 28 laps on a set of hard tyres. Halfway through, we're going, there's no way he can get this to the end of the Grand Prix. Well, he made us look like fools, didn't he? And he crossed the line in 6th place as well. Thank you for everybody that joined us. People were enjoying that real chase to the flag as Mats von Geest tried to charge and hunt down the Williams out in front. Got so close. Didn't quite manage it. And Snacks does take a first win in PSGL PSF1. Holds off the charging ball with Lawrence completing the podium. Didn't quite get it right. Just couldn't quite keep up with a pair of them in the closing stages. But what a way to start the season. And there's more to come, because we'll head over to the calendar. And next week, well, if you thought Spain was going to be exciting, hello Baku. That is going to be an absolute barnstormer, I'm sure. Always chaotic when we head to Azerbaijan. And then it's Austria following that as well. Last season, it was a guaranteed 2-stop race. We had some nice strategical gambles thrown in there. So this European triple-header to kickstart the season. Very exciting. Then the break week before we head over to North America for the Texan Grand Prix. Netherlands, Brazil, Singapore, Belgium. And then the Arabian finish with Abu Dhabi and Saudi Arabia to finish things off. It's going to be difficult, Logan, but to summarise this race in 5 words, I mean, you might need a whole script to do it, but how would you summarise that one?
Chaos, 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 chaos. There,
Excellent.
There's your 5 words.
The thesaurus was not needed to come out with that one. Yeah, it was a bit of a slow burn. The first half was maybe slightly circumspect, but then once we had those diverging strategies, which is what we like to see, it's very easy for drivers to not roll the dice, play the linear strategy game, and just, consolidate a P4 or a P5. We had drivers rolling the dice, starting on the hard tyres, going for a mammoth stint on the hard tyres, and that's what makes league racing exciting. When not everybody does the same thing.
Yeah, sorry to cut in. Just to mention, Lars Kramer's percentage. Would you like to guess how worn by percentage they were?
85?
Higher.
Higher? 90?
89.
I mean, we know that
At
once
its
you get
worst.
past, I think it's 75%, it is RNG as to when the tyre pops. You have no control over it from 75 to 100. It can pop at any point. So he is lucky there because... Which tyre was it? There's a lot of... If it's the front left, he's incredibly fortunate. You've got turn 3, high-load right-hander. The final 2 corners. Turn 12 as well, high-load right-hander. If he's survived on 89% on his front left, fair play.
Oh, yeah. And Melvin Efferman, the reason why he retired, surprisingly, he actually lost traction and spun in the pit lane, costing him his front wing, and decided, nope, there's no way I'm coming back from this.
Yeah, I saw that he had
Strange
dropped
enough.
sort of 5 seconds off the back of that lead group that we were watching. He was at one stage ahead of his teammate. He was 5th in the early stages, so an unfortunate one there, an unfortunate debut for Melvin Efferman, who we did see in the chat. It was a very fun end to the race, wasn't it? Hopefully you'll join us in a week's time for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Before we go, a couple of things that we need to mention. First of all, if you want to get the best setups in the business, head down into the description. Sim racing setups, the Pro F125 car setups developed and created by the very drivers you see competing week in, week out here at Premier Sim Gaming Leagues. They've got esport and stable setups for every single circuit, whether it's qualifying or the race you're struggling with, dry or wet weather setups, and optimal race strategies as well. They've got everything you could possibly need. Free meta setup updates in there too to make sure you've always got the best in the business. All available for £49.99 at simracingsetup.com, which is linked in the description. And make sure you use the code PSGL at checkout for a beautiful, a delightful 5% discount on your purchase. But Logan, as always, pleasure to have you in the box alongside me. Where can people find you? On the social media channels to see what you're up to, see what the new head of comms on the PlayStation side at PSGL is up to.
I just uploaded a video recently about something I actually recorded last year and I forgot about it. Check out Otaku Logan. Just Otaku Logan, or search up something about me, like craziest PSGL crash ever is on there. That's the cheddar one we keep referring to when we go that. And guess what? It's ending the season.
And it keeps happening. Remember Jeddah last season,
Oh,
an almighty
no.
titanic tussle for the championship
Why?
between Volokongan and Tony Richier. We have our finale in Jeddah. Maybe we could be seeing something similar. Make sure you check Logan out if you're interested in what I'm doing. Wilco.coms on Instagram and TikTok. But until next time, it has been a pleasure to have you join us on the ride for the first race of Season 41 on the PlayStation side as Logan is repping the PS5 controller. We will see you in 7 days' time as we move across from West to Eastern Europe. We go from Spain to Azerbaijan, the Baku City circuit. It could be quite an interesting one. If history is anything to go by, we can expect the unexpected. But the one thing we can expect is chaos once again. Enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy PC as well, which returns on Thursday. Until next time, have a wonderful rest of your week, and we will see you very, very soon.